Hallo allerseits, herzlich willkommen zu Lighthouse of Guiding Flames. From End to Beginning. Day 12. Silence filled the air. Sky was an inky abyss spreading over my head. There was no wind, and the trees resembled unmoving stone statues. Even though the sea was nearby, splashing waves or the cries of seagulls couldn't be heard. That silence was only disturbed by the sound of footfalls on the wet sand. It's time to say goodbye, yes. Two silhouettes walked to the water's edge where a little rowboat was riding the waves in wait. Such a shame though. I got used to living at the lighthouse. It's so nice and quiet here. I'm glad to hear it. I was afraid you'd get bored. It was a lot of fun. Those are very kind words, I'm flattered. Ethany burst out laughing. Time sure flew by, and you said it doesn't exist in these parts. Did you lie to me? Oh, how could you? Now I can't trust you. With mysteries of the long-lost civilizations, Ethany could tell Esteban narrowed his eyes in suspicion even through his mask. Another one of your jokes? Hehe. You don't joke with time at the lighthouse. His voice, normally soft and polite, was now filled with coldness. Ethany shivered, feeling a pang of guilt. Sorry. It's only because the time does not fly here that you still can stand before me. I understand. Ethany pressed her hand against the stomach without thinking. Thank you, I'd be completely lost without your help. Thank the guiding flames, not me. They led you out of the fog. This lighthouse is a wonderful place. Oh, was soll ich jetzt? Esteban, the lighthouse keeper, smiled. He looked content. In her time living with this weird man, Ethany learned how to read his mood from the littlest gestures. I'm a bit sad. There it was, the moment to say goodbye. Sooner or later, those sad words were destined to ring out in the still, salty air. It was very nice to meet you. Visitors don't stay at the lighthouse very often, and your company had certainly brought me a lot of memorable moments. You're my best friend. Don't say that. You'll find a lot of true friends down the road. Will I reach my true destination? But of course. Ethany clenched her fists, unable to contain her anxiousness. Will it be a nice place? Esteban was slow to reply. It all depends on you. This boat will take you anywhere you want. Anywhere I want? What do I want? Who knows? The keeper lets seafarers wait out the rough weather, but he doesn't have a slightest idea of where they should go next. I see, thank you. The girl sighed, trying to muster her strength. The sea's vastness was frightening, yet it beckoned her at the same time. A new future lied ahead. As soon as Ethany leaves the lighthouse, time will continue its flow. She won't waste her time anymore. Ethany, I have a gift for you. Oh no, I don't. Listen, I can't do much to help you, beyond giving you shelter and time to think, that is. So let me at least cheer you up. Esteban fished through his pockets. What's this? Oh, das ist hübsch. Eine Brosche. I made it myself a long time ago. Wow, who's that? You don't know? Ethany shook her head. She had never seen anything like that. It's a dragon, a mythical creature from the legends of certain worlds. One of those legends says that the dragon is an eternal guardian looking after all the stars in the sky. Ethany looked up without thinking. Like always, the sky was covered with a thick veil of dark clouds. Stars help seafarers to stay on the course. But when you can't see them, the guiding flames will lead you. And you, Mr. Esteban, are the keeper of this lighthouse. You're just like this dragon, right? Esteban said nothing in reply. Thank you, I'll make sure to treasure your gift. Ethan took the brooch from the keeper's hands. It was surprisingly warm to the touch, as if it carried Esteban's feelings. The girl pressed the brooch to her chest. Thank you, Mr. Esteban. You're welcome. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's important, very important, knowing that someone will lend you a hand when you go astray. If I ever get lost again, will you guide me? Of course. When we meet again, right? Absolutely. It is my duty as a keeper to guide seafarers who get lost. Though in your case, I hope you won't depart on a journey this dangerous again. I turned out to be a poor sailor, Mr. Esteban. Good luck, Ethany. I'll send you a letter. I look forward to it. Farewell, Ethany. The girl's shoulders shook. Please don't say that. Everybody keeps doing that to me. I don't want any more farewells. Then, see you again. See you again, Mr. Esteban. Until next time, Ethany. Ich verstehe eigentlich nicht ganz, warum hier immer diese ganze Leiste hier sichtbar ist. Aber gut. The girl got into the boat and waves carried it away from the grey shore. Esteban's figure soon became just a small dot. Until next time. Ethany was determined. A new future awaited her. Time reverses and flows back to the starting point. It is ineluctable. Und zu schnell war das für mich wieder mal. Das ist Ethany. Ich hoffe, ich spreche das überhaupt richtig aus. Esteban. Okay, Cranium. Kima. She has a decision to make, a decision she cannot avoid. Sehr kryptisch das Ganze. Day 11, das sieht wirklich so aus, als würde die Zeit rückwärts laufen hier. Esteban told Ethany that she'd have to leave the lighthouse soon. Visitors were allowed to stay in frozen time for long, or their bodies would crumble and turn into sand on the beach. Ethany was sad, but she didn't show it. She liked living at the lighthouse. Here she could forget about the troubles of her past life. Esteban was also a brilliant conversation partner, small and courteous. Too bad everything good must come to an end. Why is that, Mr. Esteban? Why can't I stay just a bit longer? You can only have one keeper per lighthouse. But I'm your guest, not the second keeper. If a guest stays for too long, he becomes a tenant. This lighthouse is the middle point for a lot of travelers, but a destination for none. Or else I would be an innkeeper, not a lighthouse keeper, don't you think? There are inns like that? Who knows, I'm not a traveler, so I can't say for sure. I should have asked Mrs. Graham. Oh, she surely knows all about that. And how can you tell when your guest is supposed to leave? Time doesn't flow here, after all. I have this. What's this? A special mechanism. An alarm clock. The keeper sounded proud. An alarm, what? Don't you know, some merchant gave it to me. A very handy tool, it counts down time and then plays all kinds of melodies. If not for this thing, I would have never been able to tear myself off from reading in time for tea. He counts down time in a place with no time? Everything is relative in our world. Are you trying to confuse me? Why would I? Some things are simply unexplainable. The lighthouse is a special place. Time doesn't exist here, but your tea will get cold if you forget about it and go for a walk. So don't think too hard about it, okay? Okay, but I want this alarm clock too. I can't give you mine. Don't worry so much. You get a lot of amazing gifts, Mr. Esteban. Seafarers bring them, right? Like Miss Graham and Mr. Kima. You're right. I wonder, are there people who can deliver mail to travelers? I'd love to talk with Miss Graham once more, even if it's on paper. Mr. Kima too. There are people like that. They're called postmen. Really? They never get lost, so they don't need a lighthouse. Amazing. So there are people who can't get lost in a storm, even if the shore is covered in fog? Postmen are a very special kind. If you want to send a letter to Graham, just give it to them. Just give it to them and they'll deliver it for free? Well, you want to talk to Graham once again, right? Then there's no need to hesitate. If you want to discuss something, don't keep it to yourself. Postmen understand how important the job is, so they always deliver letters to the recipient. Communication is that important? Well, how else would people understand what's on your mind? They'll use a mind-reading spell. Is this? Yes, one of my weird jokes. So can I send you a letter too? Esteban nodded and laughed under his breath. Why not? And a package as well? Perhaps. And a very large package? Maybe. Then I'll get into a box and have myself delivered straight to the lighthouse. Do postmen know your address? They can always find my lighthouse thanks to its lamp. Won't they confuse it with another lighthouse? Esteban shook his head. You're on the right track here, Ethany. There are many lighthouses, and seafarers will not necessarily visit mine during their travels. There's an infinite number of roads to take, shores to visit, and of course lighthouses to use. Sounds awesome. You can't just mark a lighthouse on your map, so you'd normally tell them apart by the color of their flames. The flames of my lighthouse sparkle with warm orange light. With warm orange light, but there are plenty of other colors. Red, green, there are even black ones. There are black ones? And why not? White sea and pink fog do exist after all. Black fire is as important as any other. A postman will find the right lighthouse by the color of its flames. Sounds very convenient. It certainly is. Ethany was deep in thought. Esteban's words make her think of something she somehow never thought to ask during her stay at the lighthouse. How did you become a keeper, Mr. Esteban? Huh? Well, there must have been a time when you were still new to the lighthouse, or were you born here and inherited the position? Where are your parents? You did have parents, right? Esteban went silent for a moment. Does it matter? I don't know. Did I offend you? No, nothing of the sort. It's just I myself don't remember when or how I ended up here. Oh, but I probably had parents like everybody else. You look depressed. Don't worry about me. I'm quite used to the life of a keeper. No, I was thinking of something else. And what is that? Maybe sometimes it's better to forget things. I'm afraid I can't decide that for you, Ethany. Sometimes it's a way out. Other times an inevitability. And it can also be a big mistake. Time helps to extinguish memories, but are you sure it would be for the better? I'm still not sure what I want. If you'd like to forget, no one is going to judge you. I guess so. It's just... Keeper slumped his shoulders and Ethany realized that he was in fact rather sad. Sometimes you can't restore the memories you've lost. Think long and hard about it, okay? Sure. I wouldn't want you to forget me. There's no way this is going to happen. Esteban's mouth formed a sad smile. Their conversation dwindled and Ethany was deep in thought again. She had almost made her decision. But was it the right one? Nice. Taktien. The quiet life at the lighthouse would sometimes be disrupted in the most peculiar ways. Ethany and Esteban were engrossed in reading when strange noise came from the upper floor. Ethany jumped up in fear, trying to figure out which weapon to use against the burglar. She had no doubt it was a burglar. Her only choice was a nearby broom. What are you doing? Mr. Esteban, we're being robbed. Ethany was frantically swinging the broom, ready to fight for the keeper's belongings. Robbed? Someone had snuck into the upper floor. Calm down, Ethany. How would anyone get up here? With a rope? By jumping? Or maybe it's a unique seafarer with very long legs? Thanks for complimenting my legs. A woman's voice rang out from the staircase. It was accompanied by the energetic sound of heels striking against the wooden stairs. Ethany took a more comfortable grip of the broom. Esteban went to make tea. Who's there? I came here to invade this lighthouse and replace Esteban as the keeper. It can't be. Would you like black tea today or your usual red? Red. And when I chase Esteban away, I'll turn this place into an animal shelter. Oh, I love animals. Ethany lowered the broom. All kinds of them will live in the lighthouse. Doggies, catties, birdies and other cute animals. I love cats. Will you help me look after them? Sure. Watch and learn, Esteban. That's how you convince people to join your side. The owner of that happy voice had finally descended the stairs. The burglar turned out to be a beautiful woman whose movements were both graceful and mischievous. Ethany, this is Gramium. She's a traveler. Ah, just call me Graham. Okay, Miss Graham. What a well-mannered young lady. Ethany stared intently at Graham and that didn't escape Esteban's attention. Is something the case? Miss Graham reminds me of a certain someone. Esteban smiled and tried to change the topic. Ethany got lost in the fog and now she can't decide where to go next, so I allowed her to stay at the lighthouse for a while. I see. Maybe you should follow in my steps. Your steps? Graham is a traveler. Unlike the merchants, she moves from one port to another without any real purpose. How rude. I'm driven by a reasonably important goal. Cleansing evil from the world? Cleansing evil? Don't be surprised, it's just her sense of humor. Oh, no, I travel. To travel. The young woman puffed out her chest in pride. My goal is to visit as many new places as possible. Zwischendurch wieder speichern. Cool. There's nothing better than exploring a completely unknown world. Like a trailblazer conquering new frontiers, I walk the mountains, the forests, the oceans. Wow. Oh, Ethany, you can't even imagine how many different things exist in the world. Have you ever seen waterfalls that flow upside down or trees that read poems? And what about colored clouds? Ethany was awestruck, painting unimaginable pictures from Graham's worlds in her mind. Sounds wonderful. The same goes for people, their traditions and tempers. Oh, I've seen so many on my journeys. Speaking of which, Esteban is one of those remarkable friends, the keeper of a real lighthouse. Isn't that amazing? It is. Here's your tea, drink up. Yeah, alright. So Ethany, why don't we go on a journey together? Doesn't your heart start pumping when you don't have the slightest idea what miracles will today bring in some new amazing place? Well, the girl stuttered and looked away. I don't think I have the right to pick at random. Why not? She's in special circumstances. Graham was about to protest but stopped herself and nodded with a serious face. Okay, I understand. Everyone has their own path. There are no two identical seafarers. That's right. Are you also lost? Is that why you ended up at the lighthouse? Me? Of course not. This lighthouse may help the ones who can't find their way, but you don't need to get lost if you want to visit it. I'm here to see a friend. Oh, so you're Mr. Esteban's friend. How long do you know each other? We go way back. Those times are already covered with century-old dust. You're century-old? That's not what I meant. Graham pays me a visit from time to time, but she always refuses to use the front door. It's much more interesting to choose unconventional ways of entry. Today I was going through the famous tea storage and almost got lost forever. Don't exaggerate. Your lighthouse is an entertaining place, but the best part of it are its flames. That are really beautiful. You just have to be careful not to hurt your eyes. Don't worry, Esteban had already lectured me on safety. And I was absolutely right to do that. The lamp is so bright. The flames would be of no use if they were bleak. You're right about that. Graham continued to tell stories of her travels. Ethany caught Graham's every word with her mouth agape. She couldn't believe in all of the amazing worlds possible only in fantasies of a talented storyteller. After having a few cups of tea, Graham invited Ethany to look at the lamp. Don't forget to use the eye ointment. Yeah. Graham waved off all the warnings but made sure to properly run the ointment into her and Ethany's eyelids. The flames would blind them otherwise. Oh, hübsch. Oh, it's as beautiful as ever. Do you like the flames so much? Graham walked toward the windows and leaned her back against the windowsill. She looked brooding. I calm down when I'm near the lamp. Here you don't have to think about who or where you are, whether you did the right thing or made a mistake. It's always clear and simple when you're beside the lamp. You're bathed in a friendly, gentle light. You feel safe. Yes, I know. You have nothing to fear when you're here. That's right. Aren't you afraid of traveling? What do you mean? You go to uncharted territories and must have met a lot of dangerous things on your travels. Aren't you afraid of risking your life? Graham put a finger to her lips while thinking hard. Yes, I'm scared quite often. I see. But it's okay, fear is a natural feeling just like joy or happiness. Really? Everybody's scared of something. You, me, Esteban, people are not made of steel. Doesn't that mean you can justify bad things with fear? Graham's expression became a bit darker. What do you mean? What if a person knows they're doing something wrong but can't fight their fears? Graham sighed. I shouldn't be teaching people how to live, but you see, Ethany, the fear you're talking about is very difficult to fight. You need to put in a lot of effort to do it. But is that okay if things are tough? Is that okay or not to not even try? Ethany clenched her fists in protest and Graham gave her a wry smile when she noticed this topic was pushing the girl's buttons. I don't know what happened to you in the past, but let me say this. Sometimes fear makes you lose your mind. It's not a justification of any sort. You have to know you need to battle against your fears. But you never know when something bad will happen to you. It just bam and happens. Though if there's a mistake someone wants to correct, they need to challenge their fear. There's no other way. And can they do it? Can that person defeat their fear? Who knows, depends on the person. When I look at the lamp's flames, my heart fills with courage. I think of the countless seafarers desperately fighting against the sea storms and the wickedness of long roads. I imagine how many challenges they face but still move on, undeterred. At that moment, I realized that I'm not in any way inferior to them. Right. Sometimes I feel scared and think of running away, but when I remember the lighthouse and its warm light, my mind calms down immediately. Maybe you should try it too when you get scared. Remember the lamp? Yes, think of the seafarers who found the way thanks to its light. Courage can be attained from all sorts of sources, okay? I guess. Serious conversations are not my thing after all. I act first and think later. That's why you still can't learn to use the front door. That's totally unrelated, besides you were eavesdropping on us, weren't you? I just wanted to warn you that if you stay near the lamp for a couple more minutes, you'll risk getting burned. Well, Ethany, seems like we're being headed to a safe place. Can you light a stove with the flames? I never thought about this. Don't make fun of the lamp, okay? Let's go downstairs. We better not anger Mr. Keeper here, or we'll get a good whipping. Honestly, that's my strongest fear of all. Everything else is nothing compared to that. Don't be ridiculous. Alright, now I'm going to be wary of Mr. Esteban as well. Oh, please. That was how Ethany met a world traveler, Gramium. The girl also wanted to visit other countries and even worlds, but lamentations squeezed her heart the moment she thought about it. Ethany had no right to dream of such things. So, jetzt will ich aber noch wissen, jetzt sind wir schon bei Tag 9. Wir hatten immer noch keine Chance, irgendetwas zu entscheiden. Also das ist jetzt einfach nur eine Geschichte irgendwie. Jetzt würde mich mal interessieren, ob hier irgendwas... Also das ist jetzt hier einfach nur quasi eine Erzählung. Eine Geschichte, aber zugegeben eine nicht uninteressante Geschichte. Aber es ist so, wir klicken uns hier einfach durch. So sieht's aus. Ja, also ich würde sagen, das war's dann für heute. Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao.